Hey guys, this is Frozen Card Gaming, and we're here with Mateusz Gostan. And what did you just do today?
I came top 4 at the Danish National Championship with pure Salamangreat.
Okay, how shows your deck profile?
Yeah, so I played 3 of Buffalo. It was, the best card. I've seen some people recently starting to play Debug, but you lose to like every disruption there is, and this card is way too good. Well, Debug, you can't really afford to just play way too much engine with like both this and Debug, I feel like. And I didn't like even test it at all because I felt like it was way too controversial. I didn't actually talk a little about these guys. I don't play any Falco. I didn't play Falco before either, like at the last tournament when I played this deck as well. Falco is like the biggest brick in the deck. It does nothing. Like you open like 4 hand traps in the Falco and you pass. Falco is like really nice in like niche scenarios, but you don't even need it in those scenarios. You just can't afford to play like bricky cards like that. And the same goes for like others like Will and Roar. You can't afford to just have dead cards in the hand, even though it's like nice and like real niche scenarios. This deck just draws and turbos advantage and draws into hand traps because hand traps are real disruptions. Well, I also have like some other stuff like Baguska, which I will come back to. So yeah, like triple exceed. This card was like amazing. It makes it so you can make Baguska more often and easier. It makes it so you can kill easier with access code, and you can make it like transcode co-linked to access code, which makes it so you can target either, and they can both attack twice if you have like one more extender, and this helps a lot. But in many ways, the most important aspect of this is that it lets you make Hitzel or Baguska through a Nibiru, because you play Lynx better. So if you open like the Exceed, you never touch Stalio. Like if you have like Spinny, Gazelle, and this, you don't touch Stalio. So what you just do is just like normal Spinny, make Bale, Gazelle. You pray that they Ash or Vader it, because then just hand loop themselves for one card. Because a lot of the time people just Ash, Vader, my Gazelle, and if I have another Salamangreat in the graveyard, it's completely irrelevant. It's like nice, you just hand loop yourself for one card. Because this deck, you win on a card advantage. You don't want them to have a lot of engine. You want them to just lose cards in the battle, like in the trade, because you just generate so much pluses. So you want them to like hand trap your Gazelle all the time, actually, because it just doesn't matter, because you play so safe and just loop everything. It didn't come up today with a Lynx better play, because they have to like essentially Nibiru you when you're doing like wolf stuff, and when you end up like wolf with Lingeribo, they have to like Nibiru here. Otherwise, you make Hitzel and get the one draw, and you just trade the one draw with Nibiru is like really mediocre. So they a lot of the time just Nibiru there, and then you can just go like Lynx better, exceed, summon it, and then depending on the matchup, you can either make Hitzel or Baguska. So that's really nice. So as I said, this deck wins on hand traps. You really win on hand traps. So I play 15 in the main deck. I don't think there's much to say about these 9. They're good against like everything, including Flunder from the Reese. So it's pretty fine. So it's more like these, especially these, which are controversial. So the Nibiru, a lot of the time you just pass. Like most games, you just go Hitzel, pass. You don't get Baguska most games. And you're really vulnerable to strong decks. You get easily UTK'd because you pay 6k life points, and then now you pay 2k life points and have 6k left. So you often really want to draw the Nibiru going first, and you really need it. And it's also like the decks you fear. Your hardest matchups, without doubt, is Dragon Link is really hard, and Brave decks are kind of scary as well, because if you end on Hitzel, the Braves bounce back the Hitzel, and that's like 4k damage already. They need like 2k more, and it's tough. The Draco back and everything. So yeah, Nibiru really good. So the Moonlits, we were like discussing kind of like should you play Crow? Should you play Moonlit? And I was like a really big fan of Moonlit, because Crow, if you go like first or even second blind, if you open a Moonlit and Ash, you will feel safe because you know that it hits like everything essentially. While a Crow has very underwhelming matchups and stuff like that. So you want to have hand traps that do stuff, especially against the faster decks, because you grind really well, so you can like win against slower decks that way. So you need to just stop combo decks, stop Dragon Link, stop Despia Source, so like it hits like everything except from Thunder essentially. So it's really good. The burn effect didn't come up at all, like in time. I only went to time once. It didn't really matter for that. That was my one loss in Swiss actually, because I went 6-1, so I got also in time against Despia like round 3, but it was fine. I also tried Droll for a while. The issue with Droll was that against like the Punk Synchro Brave deck, you just still get sighted, so that was not cool. It is like pretty standard. I can show this. So I don't play wheel. It's the same as Falco. It's a big brick. This is like normal. I don't play roar. Because you never actually end on Salamangreat links. You end on Heat Soul and on Baguska. It's really rare you end on actually those Salamangreat links. And this card, so I have been thinking about cutting it because I like in the top 4 game 1 it was like such a brick as well. Like it's such a bricky card, and I don't want to play cards like Will, Falco, and Roar because of that. But it is your main deck mine out, and it also is like really important to have because in testing, for example, when I played against the guy filming this video, it was like he had a Nibiru, and I had already used my access code. And at that point, my only out to big monsters is like Stalio, but I can't bounce a Nibiru with a Stalio and have Nibiru me again. So this is just like, it's good for outing stuff. And I also use it a lot just sent from hand, especially when you're starting to like draw. Like if you resolve a Buffalo Desires and a Heat Soul, which actually happens more than one should imagine playing this deck. And you draw so many cards and they have like dead engine cards in hand, and this is just, it sends from hand, it's like a negation or like a pop. And it's fine. I feel that this is like, you have to play it, even though I actually don't like it that much, but I think you have to play it. And we play like triple Bale. It comes up too much not to play less. I only played 2 Wolf. I was playing 3 for a long time, but I needed to play this guy. So since I play 15 hand traps, you often draw only hand traps. Maybe an Exceed as well. Almirage makes the hand trap turn into this and makes the Exceed life. It's also really good in the grind game when you have like Veilers or whatever, and you have like maybe Spinny, Jaguar, and Guerra. You can just normal summon a Veiler, make Almirage, and then Jaguar, and everything becomes live, because this is a Salamangreat monster, which is really important. For some normal stuff, I play like Lingoribo, Heat Soul, Update, Splash, Transcode, and Access Code. This is like really normal. Only one Splash because you don't really need more. And I feel like if you had like 16, 17 card extra, you could play actually 2 Access. It comes up a little too much actually. And I played like the Link Sputter, which I talked about, for the Exceed play, making like the Exceed after we get Nibiru'd, because I have to do that at that point. And for the last 2, it's just Baguska and Stalio, which is pretty normal. For the side deck, I played Anti-Spells. It's for Despia, Thunder, Brave decks, because you really struggle against the Brave engine. Token Collector, I didn't play a single Swordswell today, but so I didn't side them at all. I played like Brave decks, but you don't really want to have them because they turn off your Imperms and Nibiru. I played Twindusters as well as the Redribits and Harpies. Didn't draw this today. These were fine, but it was like, it's pretty standard against like Thunder as well. I played 3 Thunder today actually, but I just hand trapped them and they bricked, and yeah. And one Kalba, I didn't main it because I don't feel like it's as strong this format. You don't really care about hand traps except from Nibiru, maybe Gamma. I didn't doesn't stop either. It's essentially like a DD Crow, which can't get Mercury going second and going first. It hits cards like Elvish, Golden Lord and such. So it's just like, it was the 15 card. I had 14 card extra deck, and I was like, what do I play for the last? And it was like, throw this in. Now for the interesting part. So I played triple Iblee. It was underwhelming today, but it was because this is for Despia, Sword Soul, and essentially Dryton as well. I played one Despia and no Sword Soul, no Dryton, so it never came in. Played too much Thunder. But so the thing is with this card is that the Despia deck has like no real outs to Iblee, and then they can't crash. With the Sanctuary having 2 effects, I don't know how many people know about this, but the Sanctuary you can pay 1000 life points and make your Link 0 attack. And so you can't crash 2 0 attack monsters. And the Despot doesn't play like generic links. So they have to like, I don't know what, they have like no real outs to this. And then if you only drew this and no like Circle, Gazelle, Spinny or whatever, and it only passed on a Bale, you will like eventually like draw Engine. And then you will make Heat Soul, because you often can end on both Iblee. If you draw like Circle Iblee, this is like Heat Soul, because you said Gazelle and relink the Bale to trigger it. And then you'll get like the Heat Soul, and then you start drawing a lot of cards. You will draw, maybe for like 2 turns, till you can make the access code linked with the transcode combo. Because then you can't get Nibiru because they had the Iblee, and you can't get the Veiled or Impaired because they are co-linked. And Ash doesn't do anything here, so yeah, you just kill them. And the same with Sword Soul, they have to play like the land, the link to the vanilla. Some does, but that's not the common. Otherwise, they have to like, if they play Lina, they can Noms and a Veiler and make it. And they can also actually go Ecclesia normal to make the Lina, but then they start going like really neg if they start doing stuff like that. In addition, they can like tribute on the Longion, but at that point it turns off all tennies and it's really bad for them.
So the only real out to Iblee is Lanthorhynchus, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Everything else is like not nice. It's really not nice. But yeah, I didn't really go today, but in testing it was really nice. But I played like the Shark deck today, and he Veilered my, when I tried to Iblee him, he Veilered my Bailings, and that's like really strong because you don't get a Sanctuary, and I can just crash it. But he bricked, so it didn't matter. And I think I would have played them because I didn't play D Barrier, and because.
Would you play D Barrier if you could again?
No, because you can't search it with Silent Mining, and that's really big, where you can't search the D barriers. And the D barriers only just a turn skip. This also turns off Nibiru. It turns off if they have like the branded in red, they can still play on my turn with stuff if they fill up the graveyard. While this it's like a Mystic Mine for them.
So although this card didn't perform that well, you would play it again for those reasons?
It was really nice in like DB when I grinded like a lot of matches there, and it was, even though some people know what's going on, if I start doing like the Bale search and stop the Bailings, it was still like really nice, because you also have like normally other stuff. And they can also go like Buffalo, discard this, and it back with Splash Mage, and then give it back to them. But this is harder to like the Bureau and stuff, so it's like you need to depend on hand and stuff.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, any last shoutouts?
Shout out to FCG, of course, the best team, and our sponsors Cardmarket, Ultimate Gar, Jake Entertainment, and Metamats. And shout out to Moonlit for being such a nice hand trap. But that was all. Thank you.